All right, everybody. 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins, Sunday evening tropical update, and we now have potential tropical cyclone number 8. PTC 8 is what we call that. And what that means is essentially we have this low developing out here. It's not quite structured just good enough that it's purely tropical and we can't call it a tropical storm, but they needed to issue tropical storm warnings because we're going to have tropical storm weather on land in South Carolina and parts of North Carolina overnight tonight and into tomorrow. So that's the reason why they did this. This will likely be Tropical Storm Helene here in just a little bit. So a lot that you're seeing here, I know, let me turn these off, I guess. The center is sitting down here, and you can see it is pretty much getting ready to close up. I would imagine by 8 o'clock tonight, maybe if not, well, I'd say 8 o'clock we have Tropical Storm Helene. Could be as late as 11 with the next update. Here are the different models. You can see most of them taking it off towards the west. Recon has been out there today. They're still out there right now flying around, and you can see that they have found some pretty good low pressures out there right now. That's some of the numbers. They're finding basically winds in the 40s and 50s. All right. Speaking of the winds, let's go and take a look at that. This is, you can see the Carolina coastline right there, right? You got Myrtle Beach right in here. You've got Wilmington right in here. Charleston sitting down in here. This little area right in here has about 45 to 55 mile per hour winds. All right, I can go ahead and kind of look at those. That's about 53 mile per hour winds right there. All right, now the question has been, where does this go? Because some of the models were doing this. It looks like it's doing this. All right, it looks like it's going in towards Myrtle Beach. Now, here is where we're at right now. We have a cone. You can see it does become a tropical storm later this evening, Tropical Storm Helene, making landfall tomorrow midday near Charleston, maybe just to the north. The worst weather will be to the north of that, and that would be basically even in the morning hours, basically through the morning and afternoon hours on Monday for South Carolina, including Surfside, Myrtle Beach, Cherry Grove, all those areas. You'll probably get hit harder there than you will right near where the center is. Then it falls apart, as you can see, Monday night and the Tuesday morning over central South Carolina and up over Charlotte as a depression on Tuesday afternoon. Now, the winds will really come down. Charlotte, it's a rainmaker, but it'll be a rainmaker really Monday afternoon, Monday night for Charlotte. All the rain is going to be ahead of where you see these icons here. All right, here's what the Hurricane Center is putting out here. Basically, what you want to know is this right here. Tropical storm conditions are expected along portions of the South Carolina, North Carolina coast within the warning area, and I'll show you that up, beginning tonight through tomorrow night. Potential is for scattered flash and urban flooding, minor river flooding on the backside of all this. That takes a couple of days, but the main threat is going to be the flash flooding. 2 to 6 inches of rainfall, I think, is what you end up getting. And there's also a risk of isolated flash and urban flood warning across much of the mid-Atlantic region going through Wednesday. So we're talking heavy rain moving up into Virginia, southeast Virginia, and eventually into Maryland as well. This is a look at the arrival of forecast winds, right? These are tropical storm force winds. And the probability here from Myrtle Beach down to Charleston, right? The highest probability. And the timing would be tonight at 8 o'clock. And that includes Ocean Isle. That includes Cape Fear all the way up to Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach. So the wind picks up tonight. It's been breezy, but you're going to see this means winds in excess of 40 miles per hour are possible through tonight, overnight tonight, and through the first half of tomorrow. So any preps that you're doing, you want to have those done right now. I think I've got a better look. Yeah, here is a look at the tropical storm warning. That's here in blue. This is Edisto Beach down here, and this is Ocracoke right there. The warning goes right up to the inlet right there. All right, so anywhere south of Ocracoke all the way down to Edisto Beach, that is where we have a tropical storm warning in effect. This is the cone that you can see here, thinking that the center goes somewhere in the middle here, just north of Charleston. But remember, wherever the center is, if it does go here, the worst weather is right up in here. Okay, it's going to be to the north and the east of the center. Now, here is the storm surge forecast, and it's a solid 1 to 3 foot from Oregon Inlet all the way down to the South Santee River. All right, and that includes the Neuse River, the Southern Pamlico Sound, all these creeks, Adams Creek, Clubfoot Creek, all those creeks, 1 to 3 foot. And that would be tonight and tomorrow morning, especially, probably into the afternoon hours. But that water, if it's not already up, it should be coming up even more so. Now, most of the wind is offshore, and I'll show you that wind picking up, but this number will pick up. That water level will pick up once the higher winds get there. So let's talk about that. This is one of the hurricane-based models. This is the HAVS A, and this one's actually doing a pretty good job of trying to pick up on what the Hurricane Center is thinking is going to happen. So there you go. That is tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. Now, this might be a little slow, but it's, Myrtle Beach is sitting right in here. You've got Cherry Grove, you've got Ocean Isle, and you've got Cape Fear all right in there, right? So it's coming in the Myrtle Beach area. And then I'll go ahead and put this into sunrise on Tuesday morning, and it's a weakening low. Okay, this is not a terrible system. It's just a tropical storm. Now, here's what the radar is going to look like. Now, this is just a forecast model, right? But this is 2 in the morning. So notice Wilmington right here. All right, this is Wilmington. There's Myrtle Beach right there. Notice the heavy rain starting to come in. Ready? Watch this. Wilmington before sunrise. This is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is 2 p.m., and that's where we start to get the heaviest rain from Charleston up through Myrtle Beach. Surfside's getting hit hard. Tropical storm hard, right? And then that will continue to work its way. Again, this is 2 p.m. on Monday. That's 5 p.m. on Monday. The heaviest rain's moving onshore. Now, I'm going to back up just a little bit here because I want to show you this. This is where the center will be, somewhere in here, right? So that means that these rain bands that you see here, and this is tomorrow morning, Monday morning, 11 a.m., these rain bands in here, whatever that looks like, they're going to be coming in just like this, right? Whatever that looks like, if you're north and east of the center, those areas have a chance for tornadoes. So we're going to be watching that pretty quickly. Probably get a tornado watch coming up for southeastern North Carolina later tonight, but certainly for tomorrow. This is 2 p.m. on Monday. 8 p.m. on Monday, still quite a bit of heavy rain in eastern North Carolina. The heaviest, obviously, is moving up through South Carolina, getting over Pedro. Pedro says, here comes the rain. If you've been south of the border, that's what I'm talking about there. This is 11 p.m. Monday night. Look at that eye feature still there. I mean, it's just moving onshore, and it's going to be a slow mover at that point. But again, very heavy rainfall in some of these bands up through Onslow County, through Craven County, through Morehead City, Atlantic Beach. Tornado threats, I'd still keep an eye on it there. And then as we get into now, that's about sunrise right there on Tuesday morning. Charlotte getting some of the heavier rain. The heavier rain then moving up through eastern North Carolina, up towards the northern part of the state. Now, in fact, up into southern Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, those areas, Nags Head. So Tuesday afternoon, 2 o'clock, there's the heaviest rain now up towards Maryland, the Delmarva area, Chinkatink, all those areas. Still very heavy rainfall moving out of Charlotte, but now it's moving into Greensboro and those places. And then you can see it's moving off to the northeast. That's just the model tracking that particular rain. The low itself is going to move to the northwest. Now, here's the wind. This is 11 p.m. tonight, and the red that you see there is in the 40s. This brown and white that you're seeing out here is in the 50s. Okay, so 40-mile-per-hour winds getting closer to the coast by tonight. Then overnight, it's going to stay pretty high. It's going to pick up a little bit, but I think, places like Wrightsville Beach, Carolina Beach, you're going to feel more of this wind tonight than anybody because it's more directly onshore versus it's more longshore, parallel to the coast down in Myrtle Beach for tonight. But during the day tomorrow, this is 8 a.m. in the morning. There you go. That is 11 a.m. in the morning. Look at this wind near Carolina Beach. That's 40s and 50s, and that's right on shore. That's a surge. That's a 3-foot surge, 2 to 3 foot surge right there. Not as much for Myrtle Beach at that point, but here you go. Myrtle Beach, you get it in the afternoon. That's 2 p.m. on Monday, and you can see the very heavy winds, especially Myrtle Beach, Cherry Grove, and up towards Ocean Isle area. Again, very heavy winds in this case means 40s and 50s, right? This is not a hurricane coming through. This is not the worst thing that's ever happened to that area for sure. But, we'll watch it. You can see the numbers here showing winds in the 20s over land. The highest winds will be at the beaches, right? Coming in off the water. There's nothing to slow it down. Then 8 p.m. Monday night, tomorrow night, you can see it's made landfall north of Charleston. There it is moving inland, and winds will be decreasing. They will turn from the northeast to the southwest, especially for Ocean Isle and northern Cherry Grove area. Same thing for the Outer Banks. Those winds will turn out of the northeast and then come to the southwest. They will come down. The northeast wind will be higher, but the southwest wind will be as solid in the 20s. And that's during the afternoon and evening on Monday. This is sunrise on Tuesday morning. And you can see the winds are starting to pick up a little bit along the Virginia coastline, but nothing like what we're going to see in southeast North Carolina and northeast South Carolina. So that area down there is going to see winds in the 40s and 50s. We'll get winds in the 30s. We'll have perhaps some gusts in the 40s, but generally 20s and 30s there. All right, bigger picture. Here's some of the forecast models. You can see they are now pretty much all trying to go off to the north and the west. There was that question if it was going to go up into North Carolina directly. Doesn't really matter because the weather's going there, right? The north side of the storm. And then here's the intensity forecast models. Let me refresh this and make sure this is right. This is Tropical Tidbits. Levi does a great job with this site. You can see that most of it does get it in the tropical storm force. I mean, look, we're measuring 45-mile-per-hour winds right now out there, and they've got it with 45-mile-per-hour sustained winds currently. Okay, so that's it. I will, of course, keep you updated. Look, this is tropical storm. You know, the one thing to keep in mind is there a ton of rain moving into southeastern North Carolina and Myrtle Beach, and you guys have been inundated really for the last week. Over the past 7 days, you've seen rain most of those days. To another 2 to 6 inches of rainfall is possible with this, so there's going to be some flooding issues. This is not going to be a Floyd type issue, if you remember that far back, but we are going to get some minor river flooding on the backside. Remember, the river flooding happens 1 to 2 days after a storm goes by, right? It's raining everywhere, and then over that day or two afterwards, it's funneling down into all the rivers, and those rivers begin to swell. So don't let your guard down on the backside of this. Things will be clearing up Monday night into Tuesday afternoon, and then we'll start watching those rivers come up just a little bit. All right, guys, don't forget to follow me on YouTube page, Bobby Deskins Weather. Facebook's the same thing, Twitter. I'm even on TikTok. I know, they let old people like me on TikTok. But check it out. Have a good one.